you guys, so this is Thursday, August the 26th, 2020, 7:19 a.m. in the morning. So this story made me laugh, so I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna start covering more international or global stories. I have taken a great interest in the continent of Africa, so I'm probably gonna start covering more stories about Gambia, Nigeria, and other places, Ethiopia, so on and so forth. So this article is published in The Standard. In the news section, the title reads, German lady claims Gambian husband, in quotes, dupes her over 4,000 euros. May 5th, 2020. Now, looking at this photo, you can already tell, you can see the disparaging differences here. You can tell what's going on here. There is a German Caucasian woman with braids, and it's just a lot going on in the photo itself. It just doesn't look realistic. Let's continue. Yes, I think everyone should get a second passport, especially if you live in the United States, and especially if you are of Israel or, a black person. All right, so this article is by Alaji Mana. After feeling trapped in a fake marriage, double quotes, with a Gambian, a Dutch lady is now seeking for the recovery of her possessions from her fake, quoted again, Gambian husband. Cornelia Sose is a 52-year-old German who has been visiting the Gambia for more than 2 decades now. Okay. She alleged to The Standard that she was duped into a fake marriage in October 2019 with a Gambian man called Paboy Mindy. According to her, despite the marriage being authenticated at Gambia's Justice Ministry, she subsequently realized that many things about it, including the documents and husband's name, were all falsified. My husband introduced himself to me as Paboy. I'm going to interject here. That doesn't even sound like a real name. That sounds like a nickname. We got to know each other in autumn 2019 through a friend of mine, she explained. Cornelia explained further that a few weeks after her acquaintance with Paboy, he proposed marriage after knowing that she was visiting Gambia and he seemed trustworthy. Okay, let's stop here. You've been visiting the Gambia for over 20 years. You meet this young guy, and after a few weeks, he proposes marriage to you. You are 52 years old. You knew better. Continuing on. She added that unbeknown to her, Mindy had started making plans for the conjugal union. Unbeknownst to you, you're 52. Adding that she had even sent him money for a passport and a new ID card he supposedly lost. Money for a passport? To go where? Okay, let's just continue. She went on, shortly before I flew to the Gambia, I agreed to marry him, and so he did the process all by himself. Without me knowing, Paboy Mindy is not his real name. Okay, listen, I'm 34. This woman is 52 years old. She's been going to the Gambia for over 20 years. She knows the stunts and the games and everything else. She knows the ins and outs because she's going over there with game herself, in my opinion. If anyone tells me their name is Paboy Mindy, I don't care what country they're from. I know that's not their real name. That's obviously a nickname. Paboy Mindy. That doesn't sound Gambian. We got married on the 27th of December 2019 in what seemed to be legal because he had his birth certificate and it looked real. Everything was in order. Marriage day came, the process done, we signed with the witness, and I was married. The Dutch said she spent 6 weeks with Mindy in the Gambia and flew back to Germany, but a few days upon her home return, she noticed some negative behavioral changes in him. He was disrespectful and not picking up his phone, ignoring me, and not spending the money I left behind for the right things. I had a strange feeling and I was looking for answers. Through social media, I was able to find out that Paboy is only a nickname. Okay, once again, I must say this. No, the hell you didn't find out through social media. I read this story, and in the first paragraph, I knew Pie Boy was only a nickname. You're 52 years old. Stop pretending like you're a victim. You didn't know what was going on. You've been going over there to the Gambia to get these young boys for the last 20 years. Back to the story. Also, I found out he married another woman on the 3rd of October 2019. Apart from this woman, he also has 2 African women, which he married me with falsified documents. The lady said she is reclaiming from Mindy a generator, 2 smartphones, a wedding ring, a wristwatch, a backpack, among other valuables. She added that she has spent at least 4,000 euros during her marriage preparations and activities. You know what? She's been going to the Gambia for 20 years. She's been paying these young boys to have sex with her for 20 years. What's another year? You knew when you went over there, you bought him all these things because you bought a generator, 2 smartphones, a wedding ring, a wristwatch, and a backpack. You were paying him to sleep with you then. Listen, sweetheart, call that 4,000 euros a quit and going about your business. You're not getting any of it back. Now she's feeling slighted because her heart got involved, because I'm sure she really did fall in love with him, for whatever reason. But she knew all along that this man didn't care about her. Continuing on. It was always a desire for me to help the people and the country I love, the Gambia. I find this very hard to believe. To have been disappointed after several years makes me really heartbroken, and I'm seeking for help, Cornelia stated. The Gambia is the country I love. That's why I feel so sad about these complaints, she postulated. If you love the Gambia so much, why don't you live there? You've been visiting for 20 years, but you always go back home to Germany or Dutchland or wherever you live. If you love it so much, why don't you live there and invest in the country? Question. Why do I ask this question? Because I found a country that I love and I live here and I invest in the country. Moving forward, reacting to the allegations, Pie Boy Mindy, 37, rejected the Dutch lady's assertion as an attempt to damage his good image. He denied ever falsifying his documents or committing adultery during the brief marriage as alluded by the Dutch lady. She said he proposed marriage after a few weeks, you guys. I'm trying to stick to this story. It's just so many holes. I'm trying not to fall in any of these holes. Let's continue. She is jealous. The man who introduced us is even disappointed in her. You're disappointed in her? All right, you're taking it a little too far. She accused me of adultery. How dare. Mr. Mindy frowned. I am not afraid of her. Let her come and let's go to court. I am a man. I am not a fake. Let's read. Okay. I'm going to read some of these. Comments. Okay. So, the first one by Musa Maron. Just fling the 2 sides of the coin. You will see the best sides of the story. Vicky Alonso. Oh, Pie Boy. Why you people are giving bad names to our country? Why are some Gambian bombsas are fake and destroying opportunities for others? Love women's what? For who they are not, for what they have. This white woman works hard in trying to help, but then they end up heartbroken. I'm ashamed. Listen, Vicky, there's no need in you being ashamed. This woman English is probably her second language. There's no need in you being ashamed of what happened in the Gambia, because this woman knew damn well what was going to go on in the Gambia when she met this young man, and he was poor. He didn't have anything. She thought she could exploit him, and get him together, and she was probably going to try to bring him to Deutschland, Germany, wherever she's at. She's been coming to your country for over 20 years. She knows this game left and right. This isn't the first time she's fallen in love. She falls in love with a young Gambian man every time she steps foot in that country. On to the next one. This woman is old enough to be his mother. We know very well some European pedophiles rape very young children for $2.60 and get away with it. Do you read about the age? Okay, this person obviously is talking about something else. Everybody in this story is well over age. The man's 37, the woman's 52. On to the next one. Osimeta Michael. What I learn about white ladies, when they see real, truthful, and serious men, they will never like that man. But when they see a scam man, they will appreciate that man. Cornelia Sosa. How can you know? Okay, I know what he's talking about. I'm not going to say that about white women. I'm going to say that about a lot of American and westernized women. They prefer men that, are dangerous, that like to scam them, that are always treating them like trash. They prefer men like that. They feel like that's a manly quality to have them emotionally distraught throughout the day, crying and going through. It's an emotion. They like being on an emotional roller coaster. That's a part of what feminism gives. It gives you as a woman to have the freedom to ride an emotional roller coaster. And when when you get off one man's ride, you can just go to the next man's roller coaster and ride it again. They can, beat you and throw you around. I understand what he's saying. I've seen many of these things occur. On a positive note, I married my Gambian husband almost 2 years ago after only knowing him for a short time. He is now living in England with me, and it is wonderful. There's a plane flying overhead. He is now living in England with me, and it is wonderful. Not all mixed marriages go bad. No one said all mixed marriages go bad. This isn't about the mixed marriage. This has nothing to do with that. This is about a woman who was well over her prime, going there looking for a man in his prime. She found that, and things didn't work out. She knew she was being scammed. Linda Vincent. Sincerely happy for your Gambian husband to be true to his word. In 2019, I discovered my 10-year marriage was to a narcissistic Gambian. He was fake, a coward, lacked empathy, disrespected himself, is a sinner to his Muslim religion, and cheated in his marriage. Equals betrayals, cheating, mental abuse, and spending my money. I left this Gambian who did not love me for him to lose a good, clean, conscious, honest, caring woman who loved him. Okay, first of all, Linda Vincent, you have been burned. Obviously, you're scorned, you're mad, you're angry. This woman is still pissed at this man. Now, I'm going to go ahead and dissect her comment. You discovered your 10-year marriage was to a narcissistic Gambian. This is the woman that man was just talking about when he said they like men that mistreat them. They don't want a serious man. You didn't discover a damn thing after 10 years. Okay? That man was who he was from day one. All right? From day one. So in 2009, when you met him, he was a narcissistic Gambian. When you married him, he was a narcissistic Gambian. When you had sex with him, he was a narcissistic Gambian. When you gave him your money, he was a fake and a coward, and he lacked empathy, and he disrespected himself, and he was a sinner, and he was a Muslim, and when he cheated, he's been cheating on none of betrayal. He was betraying you then, he was cheating then, he was pushing mental abuse then, and spending your money from 2009 to 2019. Don't be angry because he finally got tired of your BS and left your ass, okay? And now you're spouting all this nonsense trying to defame every Gambian man. You were with this man for 10 years. Who is not a sinner? Everyone is. Why does he owe you anything? A lot of Muslims have multiple wives. You're saying he cheated on you. What are you even talking about? Moving on, this woman needs to grow up and accept her responsibility in choosing the wrong man. That's on you, Linda Vincent. Don't blame it on him. Elaine Camera. Linda Vincent, sorry to hear that. Sending you good wishes. I'm not sending her ass good wishes. I'm sending her ass. I hope she takes responsibility for choosing him because he was the same man in 2019 that he was in 2019. Cornelia Sosa. Linda Vincent, it's so sad. We just fall in love with them and try to help get a better life, but look what we have to go through. What you went through was 10 years of perfect joy until the man left you. You loved him, mentally abusing you, being narcissistic, being low down. If he wasn't like that, you would have never married him. Let's check out the next 10 comments. You guys, you know I'm telling the truth. Suwani Chronics, 52-year-old should be thinking your life how it's going to end, not about love. Wow. Besides, you said you spent $4,000, 4,000 euros in a marriage ceremony. It's just chicken change. By the way, a man can marry up to 4 wives. If you can't cope with that, stay back. You want to shock all his blood and lift him. He make a good decision. I'm proud of him. First at all, chicken change. I'm skipping over Cornelia's stuff. She's also a scorned heart. Silver tea lining, or is that silver tea lining? Is that? I don't know. How unfortunate for yet another individual to fall into the same trap that many others have fallen into. At this point in life, one would have thought that she ought to have known better. How many more stories do we need to hear about that go up the very same road and ends the very same way? Shaking my head, wake up. The desperation of love makes you do the most foolish things. She needs to let this go, take the lesson and move on. Here's another difference between men and women. As a man, and these women know this as well, but they're not going to call it out. They're going to say this is love. This was never love. This woman did not love this man, and this man did not love this woman. This woman had sex with this man. She loved the sex that she had with him. She didn't love him. She loved his penis. She loved having sex with him. She loved the way that he made her feel sexually. There is a few weeks is not enough time for a marriage. A few weeks is enough time to have a lot of sex. That's what this was about. There was no love here. She felt like she could have this sexual stud whenever she wanted to. She could bring him over to Germany, and she'd have her own living sex stud. That's what this was about. Let's stop pretending like there was no love involved in any of this. If there was love involved in this, we wouldn't be hearing about this story, because she would have loved this man enough not to say any of these things about him, not to expose him. She would have loved him enough to say, okay, the man is over there struggling. I came over there. I gave him some money. I spent $4,000. I'll get it back in a couple of months. I'm going to just move on to the next. Okay, King Pata. Cornelia or Connie. Dulrek, I don't know what that means. She's the most dangerous woman in Germany, this woman. God almighty. How many young Gambians she left stranded waiting for their papers? Exactly. Do you see what I'm saying? This is the other side. The woman's been going here for 20 years. She's probably got 20 years worth of Gambian men that have been waiting for papers, waiting for money, waiting for this, waiting for that, this better life in wherever she's promised them, and they still sitting there. Used and abused. That's what she's not saying. She's been going over here for 20 years, you guys. She knows. We Gambians, we Gambians should be careful of dating with this old white men and white women. It's not a good image for our country, because many of the white people, they bring HIV and other infections and diseases into their beloved country. That's true. So the government should do something for this nonsense to stop, because we have very beautiful young women in our country. White people are not good. They only follow their interests, so we Africans should be wise. That's true. A lot of those European tourists are the ones who brought all the AIDS to Africa, but they pretend like AIDS came up out of Africa, like AIDS just occurred in Africa and went all over the world. A lot of those Europeans are the ones that bring the sex tourism and the sex trade. They're the ones who are bringing AIDS and syphilis and a lot of those diseases. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and close out here. I have had quite enough of these comments. It's been real. Let me know what you think. I don't believe a word this woman is saying.